Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Tyro What Ifs here, and today I just want to talk about I just want to give a shout out to Error Sans for commenting. Can you do a what if Naruto had Sans' powers? And I can do that, but I'm gonna switch it up a bit. And this is what if Naruto has Sans dōjutsu, part one. Now I had to explain a little thing. I had to create an entire dōjutsu, and I now have to tell you the name. It's gonna be called the Junkotsugan. Now the Junkotsugan, or for translation, the Bone Eye. Yes, I'm very creative. Um, it has three. It has four main abilities. Actually, it has three main abilities, but it has a side ability when you add them all together. Basically, it's gonna be called the first ability is called Kotsubai Katana. Now, Kotsubai Katana, or Bone Blade or Bone Sword, basically allows Naruto to summon one of the tooth or teeth of the Ten Tails, and basically it will be formed into a giant blade. Uh, and Pretty much anything that Naruto cuts, he can then manipulate it. And basically Naruto can make him levitate, slam to the ground, slam to the left, slam to the right, kind of what Sans does in the game. Next, it's Kotsubai Kari, or bone manipulation or bone control. Naruto can pretty much summon any piece of any multiple bones of the Ten Tails. Basically, it's just that simple. You know, he can use this defensively and offensively, make a bone wall, multiple maybe even like more of a landmine, stuff like that. Next, it's going to be called the Skull of the Ten Tails. Basically, Naruto can summon a smaller version of the Skull of the Ten Tails, and then the skull will use particle style to create a beam from its mouth, aka Gaster Blaster from the game. And if Naruto combines all of these together, he can actually summon the entire skeleton of the Ten Tails, although this will be extremely hard for Naruto. I just wanted to explain the Jutsugan before we actually get into the what if, just in case you wanted to know what the abilities were. And now, the actual story. I hope you guys enjoy. Chapter 1: The Tale of the Uzumaki's number one son, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto was born on the worst night of Konoha. The Nine Tails attacked the village while Minato was fighting Obito. Like in the original, the Nine Tails was still sealed inside Naruto, and from that day on, Naruto was an outcast. 5 years later, Naruto was walking in cold snow, his feet shivering. He would freeze and almost stumble. He would then accidentally bump into a random villager who was drunk. The villager would grab Naruto and say, "You damn fox, you're coming with me." As the villager would grab Naruto and drag him, Naruto would beg for forgiveness. But the villager would just ignore him and take Naruto to a huge ditch. "At this height, you'll definitely die," the villager would say with joy in his tone. Naruto would ask what he did and why everybody hates him. The villager would reply, "Because you exist." He would then throw Naruto down the ditch. Naruto, fearing death, would place his hands in front of him, almost like it was supposed to help him survive the fall. But obviously it wouldn't. But Naruto, with adrenaline, would accidentally use a bunch of chakra and summon the entire skeleton of the Ten Tails. Naruto would then black out. The next day, he would wake up at the hospital. The nurse would greet Naruto, as Naruto would ask what happened. The nurse would reply, "We found you unconscious outside." She would then ask him how he's feeling, but Naruto would just simply say, "I'm okay." The memories would flood back. He remembers after summoning the giant beast, he made himself go to the hospital and then it would disappear in smoke. That's where he passed out. After Naruto would leave the hospital, he went home. He would go to the bathroom to get a shower and then he would look in the mirror. He would notice, "Why are my eyes white? They were blue yesterday." As Naruto's eyes would be glowing white, he would hear a voice, "Kotsubai Katana." Naruto would look around and ask who's there, as the voice would repeat itself. He would keep doing this as Naruto would ask, "What is a Kotsubai Katana?" As Naruto said this, Naruto's hands would be glowing. of a giant blade. The hilt was made of bones, or at least a bone-like material, and there was a giant sword that looked like a shark tooth. He would ask why he has this and when did he get it, as then he heard banging on the door, and then all the villagers outside, as they were trying to break into the house. Naruto would pretty much say to himself, not again, please not today, as the villagers would just say, hey, we're gonna break into this house and kill you, you damn fox. As then the voice would then say, Katsubai Kari. Naruto would ask what's going on as he would place his hands on the ground and start crying. Please, not today again. As Naruto would yell to the villagers, he could only hear the screams of the villagers trying to break in. As he was also bawling his eyes out, thinking he was gonna die, as the voice got louder and louder. Katsubai Kari. Say Katsubai Kari. Naruto would do as the voice said, just to get him out of his head. When saying those two words, Naruto's house would be surrounded by a giant bone wall. Naruto would stop hearing the villagers. He would then ask what that voice was, as the voice also disappeared. He would put down the giant bone wall to reveal that all of the villagers were just in shock. For no reason to them, these bones just appeared. The villagers would back off from Naruto and just leave him be for that day. Naruto would go to the training field, and for the next 7 years, Naruto would try and train these two abilities. He would also find a way to use them without actually needing to say anything, or just say it in his mind. Naruto would go to the academy. Again, he failed the clone test. Naruto Uzumaki has failed, Iruka would state. Everybody in the room, except for Shikamaru, Hinata, and Sasuke, would laugh. Naruto didn't look mad though, or sad. If anything, he looked happy. He would then look at Iruka. If I fight you and win, would you pass me? As Iruka would laugh, wiping the tears out of his eyes, he would then state, you know, if you do beat me, I'll pass you. Naruto would then smile, great, as he would take a step back. Iruka would then count down from 3. The second Iruka yells go, he would then be covered with a giant small ribcage. Naruto would then chuckle, as Iruka was now stuck. He would ask what this is. Naruto would just reply, that's my Katsubai Karin, rib squeeze jutsu. Iruka would try and get out, but the more he resisted, the tighter the ribcage would squeeze to his body. Iruka eventually gave up and declared Naruto the winner. Naruto would then be assigned to Team 7 with Sakura and Sasuke. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura would wait for the new teacher. Naruto, getting bored, would do the same prank like he did in the original. When Kakashi finally walks through the door, the eraser would hit him in the head, and he would exclaim, well, my first impression, I hate you all. As Sakura would get mad and punch Naruto in the head. Great, now our new sensei hits us, thanks to you, Naruto. As Naruto would grab her by the arm. Then he would activate his Junkotsugan and tell her to cut that shit out, Sakura. Naruto would give Sakura a death stare, and then she would back off. Kakashi would think to himself, so he has a Junkotsugan. Good. Kakashi would tell everybody to meet him on the rooftop. As everybody finally got on the rooftop, Kakashi would ask everyone what they liked, disliked, and what their dreams are. Everyone but Naruto's was pretty much the same as the original, so I'm only going to focus on Naruto's. Naruto states, I like ramen, and I hate being disrespected, and my dream is to create my own village and call it the Funekakure. As Sakura would laugh, but Sasuke would stay silent. Naruto would ask what's so funny, as Sakura would then reply, the village hidden in the graveyard? Really? How edgy can you get? As Sakura would continue laughing, Kakashi would state, huh, Naruto, you have a Junkotsugan, don't you? That name actually makes sense for the village. as Naruto would ask him what is a Junkotsugan. As Kakashi would tell Naruto if he meets with the graveyard later, he'll tell him. Sasuke is no more intrigued into Naruto. The Gon, he knows what Gon means, which is I. Therefore, if anything before that, it must mean it's probably a dōjutsu Kage Genkai like his. Kakashi would tell everybody that tomorrow they're gonna do a little test, and that they need to meet up at the training field at noon and not eat breakfast. After dismissing everyone, and a couple hours would go by. Naruto would meet Kakashi at the graveyard, and Sasuke would actually be behind a tree listening in. Kakashi would then activate and show his own Junkotsugan. Kakashi would then explain, the Junkotsugan is a dōjutsu that the Uzumaki clan have owned for generations. Naruto would ask why he only has one and if he's an Uzumaki himself. Kakashi would then reply, no, I'm not an Uzumaki, and for the first question, it's a long story, so maybe later. Naruto gets a good night's sleep and heads straight for the training field in the morning. Kakashi, unlike in the original, isn't late this time and gets things started. He explains the rules. This is the bell test, and basically you have to get these 2 bells from me. Also, attack like you're gonna kill me, or I'll just fail you automatically. Sakura would raise her hand. Wait, but there's 3 of us. Kakashi would say, oh yeah, only 2 of you will get the pass. As Kakashi would then yell start, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura would jump into the nearby forest. Naruto would whisper to himself, Kotsubai, Katana, as he would then expose himself and run straight for Kakashi. He would cut Kakashi's arms and would try to throw him with telekinesis. He would realize it's not working, even ask why it isn't. Kakashi would then explain. The Junkotsugan users cannot use their abilities against each other. As Naruto would state that's kind of dumb, Kakashi would punch Naruto in the gut and knock him out. Sasuke would see their fight before him and would comment that Naruto is a loser. Kakashi would then appear behind them and states that Kakashi's bad at hiding. He would go for a punch at Sasuke, but before the punch actually lands, a ribcage will appear around Sasuke. Sasuke would turn aside to see Naruto at him on all 4s, staring. Naruto would yell, what are you doing? He can't use his dōjutsu on you. Let him have it. As Sasuke would think to himself, why is this damn loser helping me? He would then activate his single Tomoe Sharingan and release a barrage of fireball jutsus. Naruto and Sasuke would put their hatred against each other, or more like annoyance against each other, and work together against Kakashi. Naruto as a shield and Sasuke as a sword. Naruto would then make his Kotsubai Katana appear and cut Sasuke with it. Sasuke would ask why Naruto did that, as Naruto states that by cutting you, he can boost his speed. Sasuke would smile and get hype, and Sasuke would basically speed blitz Kakashi. Kakashi would be forced to use taijutsu only, as he can't use his own dōjutsu on Sasuke, as it's with Naruto's chakra, who has a who has a Junkotsugan. Naruto and Sasuke basically Sasuke's basically a fast sword and shield as Naruto to stay in the background. Sakura would begin to feel useless. She would then throw a kunai with a paper bomb attached to it at Kakashi. She would then yell, I'm not gonna let Naruto shine me, and the bomb would explode. Now Kakashi has 3 people attacking him. Because of Kakashi now being forced to use taijutsu only, Naruto and Sasuke are basically fighting Kakashi. For a visual reference, just think about Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki as pretty much like that. Only this time, Sakura is in the background throwing bombs at Kakashi. Naruto then sees that there's an opening where he can grab the bells, and was super close. He can barely even touch it before the timer went off. Naruto would look down and turn off his Junkotsugan. He then will go up to Sasuke and Sakura and apologize. I'm sorry, I was too weak and too slow. I couldn't even touch the bells. We failed because of me. As Kakashi would then and basically yell, no, Team 7 passed. Naruto would ask how that is, and Kakashi states that the reason why they passed, maybe they didn't finish their mission, but they learned the first lesson on being great ninjas, and that is working together. Sasuke would stick out his fist forwards towards Naruto, and then he would state, and we couldn't have done it without you, loser. As Naruto would grab Sakura's arm and pretty much make her make a fist, and Team 7 would do a fist bump. As Team 7 would walk off to their own respective houses, Kakashi could only smile. He would look up and tell Minato he thinks he's found his students. After Naruto's long day, Shikamaru was actually waiting for him at his house, as Shikamaru states he already got done with his test and wanted to know if Naruto wanted to hang out. Naruto accepted, and they both went off to play Soji, I think that was what it's called. And that's where we're going to end off part 1. I'm sorry it was super short, but if I'm going to be honest, part 2 is really long, and I don't want to do part 2 and part 1 combined. So, yeah. But for the title of part 2, you guys can know, which is going to be called the Uchiha, the Uzumaki, and the Normal. Basically, here's some bloopers that I had. I think we had like one blooper, but I still want to show it. I'm going to be doing this kind of style of editing for my videos. So if you don't like it, just comment down below if you don't like this style. It's not really a lot affecting my audio, at least. So yeah. And goodbye. Chapter 1, The Tale of the... I messed up.